My name is Dane Charbeneau. I am Animal Quality's campaign manager in the US, and I've been with Animal Quality for about 8 years now. The first half of my time with Animal Quality was mostly spent on educational campaigns, and the second half has been focused on corporate campaigns for animals. Pregnant mother pigs enduring the horrors of gestation crates, to me, really symbolizes the epitome of cruelty in our food system. The sheer inhumanity of confining animals in spaces so small that they can't even turn around is almost hard to comprehend. So the decision was fairly easy for us. We felt like it was our duty to speak out on this issue, and we've not only educated the public about what happens to animals behind closed doors, and but we've also been able to encourage companies and influence companies like Denny's and Aldi to take a stand against it by committing to not purchase from farms that cage animals. Yeah, I think that, like I said, Animal Quality is committed to ending like the worst abuses for animals used for food, and I think by starting with the worst of the worst, it just kind of moves us in that direction to a much more humane world for animals. And every time that we see improvements in our food system, like the movement away from cages, we can see that laws are being put in place to completely ban this. So it becomes a not just a commitment by a company, but it becomes a legal issue as well. And then we also see education in the public and how people are starting to learn about what really happens to animals in factory farms and slaughterhouses. And so with this education, they can make more informed decisions about what they choose to eat, and hopefully move towards consuming plant-based products over animal products. Well, it's heartbreaking, really. I mean, imagine being confined in a space that's barely larger than your own body for months on end. It's a life of utter deprivation. You deny these intelligent and social animals of anything that's natural to them, the ability to express any natural behaviors, let alone the joys of motherhood. And it's really their entire lives that they have to live this way. After giving birth, these mother pigs are then moved into similar cages that are called farrowing crates, and they're just slightly larger than a gestation crate, with usually just like a concrete slab where the piglets will live and have to feed through metal bars. And after 2 to 3 weeks, these piglets are separated from the mother, and the mother is forced back into the gestation crate and impregnated again and again, and continues to be forced into this cycle of abuse and this forced breeding and imprisonment. So this intense confinement, the loneliness, the deprivation, it can really put a huge strain on these animals that are really intelligent, and it causes essentially these animals to go insane, and it's manifested through abnormal behaviors, such as knocking your heads back and forth or biting on the metal bars. And after 3 or 4 years, their bodies are usually pretty exhausted at this point, and then they're sent to slaughter way too soon, way before their life expectancy. So it's a horrible existence, and we've decided we need to make it a priority to end this cruelty. Yeah, I think there's a significant gap between what consumers expect and the reality of conditions for animals in these supply chains. Americans are increasingly concerned about animal welfare, and they're definitely ready for change. They expect companies like Denny's and Aldi to uphold their commitments and demonstrate responsibility in their business practices. and we're here to ensure that those expectations are met. We've made it our duty to bridge this gap and hold companies accountable for meeting the expectations of their customers. Yeah, I mean, it's disheartening to say the least. This was during a protest that we held outside of a Denny's Franchise Association conference. And these franchisees have a lot of sway. About 97% of Denny's restaurants are owned by franchisors. And some of these franchisees are on the supply chain committee where purchasing decisions are made for the entire company. So instead of Denny's franchisees taking this opportunity to address the pressing issue of animal abuse in their supply chain, we were met with glares and this dismissive gesture. So it was, really unfortunate to see. It's not only a slap in the face to the animals, but also for Denny's stakeholders and the loyal customers who have been calling for this change. Yeah, I think the benefit lies in the potential to create widespread change for animals by targeting a major retailer like Aldi. A commitment from them would not only improve the lives of countless animals in their supply chains, but it would also help push the industry away from the use of cages. And yes, it comes with many challenges. Aldi's a huge global company. They're a private company, and there are, less pressure points for us to take with a company like Aldi. And we've had a hard time finding opportunities to target the decision makers who live in Germany and Austria. But collaborating with our German colleagues has been really rewarding, and we get to learn from each other and we find strength in each other. And, working together on a campaign unifies our impact, and it really demonstrates the global nature of our cause and the power of collective advocacy. Yeah, a commitment from Aldi or Denny's would send a powerful message to the entire industry, influencing suppliers and encouraging other companies to follow suit. I think it's a crucial step towards establishing, more humane practices and aligning the food sector with the growing demand for increased protections for animals. Yeah, each commitment that we achieve from a company helps to build momentum and set a precedent. By eliminating the cruelest practices for animals one by one, we're helping to create a new standard for how animals are viewed and how they're treated. And companies are realizing that prioritizing animal welfare is not only the moral thing to do, but also is good for business in the long run. While we're pushing for these corporations to make changes, we're also supporting legal initiatives and laws like Proposition 12 in California that bans extreme confinement. Now there are 11 states in the US that have banned the use of gestation crates, and these animal welfare commitments made by companies, especially major players like Denny's and Aldi, really help to supplement these efforts and push the industry in the right direction. So over time, these incremental changes can accumulate and help foster a shift in the industry that leads to lasting improvement for animals. Yeah, I definitely think they're interconnected. Both are approaches to a larger movement towards a more compassionate and sustainable food system. Through our corporate policies, we can move the industry away from cruel practices like the use of cages, and the shift to plant-based foods aligns with reducing overall animal suffering and as well as environmental impact. We've even seen that when companies adopt higher standards for animals, it can often lead the company to reevaluate what they offer on their menus. Sometimes this means adding more plant-based options or even swapping out some animal products altogether, like we saw with a company called Just Salad a few years ago. who started using Beyond Meat in place of beef. And that was announced the very same month that they adopted the Better Chicken commitment. So, yeah, I think these two strong approaches to a kinder world for animals definitely go hand in hand. Yeah, I think it's a great time to look back on the incredible journey that we've undertaken this past year, the lives that we've impacted, the positive changes we've been able to make and contribute to, from our work to help mother pigs to shining a light on horse slaughter, changing laws, and even teaching chefs in Mexico how to create delicious plant-based meals. It's been really another year of hope for animals. And it's a good reminder for us to look back on our achievements and celebrate the progress, but also recognize how far we still have to go. For me, it's really a moment to reflect on our journey and really celebrate that collective impact that we've made together. There are so many great new vegan products coming out all the time. But I think it would have to be something Tex-Mex since that's where what I grew up eating. So one of my go-to staples is jackfruit, and I love to incorporate it in different ways. But my favorite is doing something kind of Mexican Tex-Mex style. So I like to shred it up and put a good amount of seasoning on it, and either make like something like a torta or make some shredded jackfruit tacos is one of my specialties. Yeah, well, they are really the backbone of our work. Donors and supporters enable us to conduct impactful campaigns, engage with corporations, and push for a meaningful change. Their generosity really fuels our work, and it enables us to make strategic decisions and really amplify the impact that we can make for animals. So their commitment really empowers us to hold companies accountable and create meaningful change for animals on a global scale. They really make our work to end animal cruelty possible.